We always want to become everything. Because without you, you wouldn't be enjoy the freedom that we've come to enjoy, and a lot of people are taking for granted. Don't take it for granted, because don't think the devil's been watching. He's always watching to try to take away the freedom, the joys that we get to share in this life, because he's mad. He's mad at what he did. He got he's just a mad devil. But we are here, and we now have to focus on ensuring that we keep those freedoms and we stay free, not just for ourselves, but for those who can't help themselves. There are people in Iran right now who are screaming, crying out to get out because of the bondage they're in. There's so many nations, people are still in bondage. We forget it because we've lived so free for so long that sometimes we forget, oh my God, people are still over there going through some stuff. But we, the beacon of hope and light, can give them, tell them, at least let them know there's a hope. You get that you can get out and have a life and enjoy the freedoms that God created you to have. So don't ever take it for granted here, because believe you me, there are people who are trying to take it away. Believe you me. And that's why we pray every day. I tell people, I don't leave it to man. I pray and put God in charge so he can expose and annihilate the hidden works of darkness. And that's why we're here today. So again, it's the festivities are continuing. The DMV, we have stuff going on in the National Mall still, and all over the world, things are going on in celebration of this great, great achievement of this country. And you could just do it at your home. I do it in my home. We did a cookout. We had family over, and we just enjoyed ourselves, and we watched the rest on TV. It's just hot. I mean, we're in the hundreds. I think the highest we got to was 110. And I'm like, mm-mm. Went out, did what I had to do, came back inside. And today it's in the 90s, but I think it's going to feel like the hundreds or something like that. So we're just hot over here. But sometimes it's good to be hot rather than cold. So it's just, yeah, just enjoy it and what it stands for, because we're having an amazing time over in these parts of the world. Oh my goodness. Okay. And I guess everybody else, FIFA is on. Okay. And America, we have another game tomorrow. So just celebrate and pray for the guys, because they have a tough battle ahead. But we've been doing well. And I've just enjoyed the FIFA. I've watched World Cup for years, but this year has a different tone. It just brought a lot of enjoyment to me. It just did very well. And to see America, because America, especially the men's team, never really did so good in the FIFA, because our main thing is football over here, the football we know here. Whereas over there it's soccer. So the men's team never was to like the level that we wanted them to. But this year, I think they got it. I think they understood the assignment, and they're doing quite well. So we get to celebrate one more time tomorrow. Hopefully they make it to the end. That's my hope right now. And just keep it going. Okay. So we have a lot to celebrate over here during this time. So that's why it's an exciting time. And I hope you get to enjoy that as well. Okay. Don't forget Soar Fresh, Soar Fresh, Store Fresh, Soar Fresh, hydrate, deliberate, stay sore, stay fresh. We have it. You can order it online. Go to favorofagreatgod.com. Go to our Fava Market, and you can order single ones. You can order large ones. You can order the case size. They're all there. Order order, because everything goes, and it's an amazing product. Okay, I don't just say that because I'm part of the process. I mean, it is. I tell you, I'm very, very picky. So when I like something, I tell people I like it because I like it. If I don't, no. But anyway, but so that we've made it, and we made it with not just you, with us in mind, then with you. So we try to make sure it's something that's good, and then with you. So why not just share it with the world? And it has a lot of vitamin C. It stimulates the building of collagen. It's just a very good product. And I didn't know all the health benefits. I just knew it tasted good. It's good. And then I started researching. I said, well, wait a minute now. It's a little better than I thought. So we're sharing that with you. So get to do that. Stay sore, stay fresh. Don't forget, right here, Father Reach, you get to donate to liberate. And that's where we get to take care of our human traffic victims and those who are caught up in a hot mess. And they need to get out, don't think they can. And once they do, we need to get them on the path. As a matter of fact, that's what our FF26 is going to be about this year, Fava Festival. We are going to focus on our restoration economy, and we're going to partner. We're calling all our founders, entrepreneurs, artists, all be just calling people together. It's going to be very limited this year because we don't want to make it too much because of what we got to do. But we have a plan in place, and we want people to partner with us and help make it better so we can do something. I'm not just about talking. I want to do something. And we have things in place to help build up the people who once they're liberated, to prevent and then to liberate and build up these people to powerhouses in the earth. So when they come out of there, they're going to come out telling the devil, you should not have touched me, because I'm going to do everything I can to build up people, to increase value, and to make God proud of putting me on this earth. So that's what we're going to do. We have a plan. So don't forget, go to our website, favorofagreatgod.com, go to the Fava Festival page, and then you see how to register there. And then you could go from there. And we have promos going on, and it's going to be September this year. And so we have 3 different dates. We're going to do a little different this year. But so just go on there, see everything that's on there, and keep on working with us, partnering with us. It's going to be a little bit more, but we're doing it because what everything that's being done is almost like an investment into creating this whole economy that can help boost these people into what God has called them to, and to support them and to build them up practically and for real, not just in word. We want to make sure it happens, because a lot of times I'm hearing about a lot of things going on and people are saying and not doing. Don't like that. This case, we have to make it happen because lives are at stake. These lives are literally at stake. Okay. And we have to do something that brings value and increases them so we could see the fruit of our labor, so God can be glorified and men and women can be impacted for the kingdom of God. And that's what it's all about for us. So join us September 10th, September 12th, and September 13th. And then we have an optional retreat after that you can join us on, VIP retreat if you want to. So that's optional. But the core FF26 is the 9th, the 12th, and the 13th, right? Yeah. And so just go on there, see everything. We'll talk about it later, but we're not right now, okay? So go to Favor of a Great God, Fava Festival, get with it. Don't forget Soar Fresh. Don't forget our Fava Market. We have a lot of products, a lot of merch in there too, that everything goes towards helping liberate. So like I said, we are on a mission to get this done, and we need you we need you to help us to make that impact that we want to make in the earth. Okay? All right. Now we go to our topic for the day, and I hope you're getting in on our vlog, blog. Yeah, blog, not vlog. Blog every Friday at 8 a.m. And it's this week our topic was narrow to grow. That blessed my spirit, because I get these little topics and then I do the research and then I put them together and I'm like, oh, that was good. And I like the podcast that's on that as well. Narrow to grow. And a lot of times if you're like me, you're in the entrepreneurial space, you want to create these products, you're very creative, your mindset, oh, I see this, I see that, I see this, I see that. But there's a good time for that in certain situations. But for the most part, if you want to scale, you got to narrow it down a bit. And that's the part where I have to work on for myself, because I'll just go. But I realize you have to narrow down your focus as to what you can do, and you don't want to put it in too many different places so then you get scattered. So that's what it was all about today, narrow to grow. And so if you're in that space, it's important for you to figure out, what am I doing? What is my mission? What do I want to accomplish? Who do I want to reach? And sometimes we have to figure this, you can't reach everybody. That's the part that's hard for me. That part, because I'm always, because I'm a believer, and we preach the gospel and go into all the world and preach the gospel. We know that our mission is to preach about Jesus and what he came to do, to die, to save, and to liberate mankind. That's our mission. But that can go to all the world because he wants us to go to all the world with it, because everybody can benefit from it. So when you have a mindset like that, sometimes you feel like your product that you create for business, sometimes you want sometimes you want it to go to everybody. You want it to reach everybody because you want everybody to have the benefit of your product. But the fact that everybody's starting to realize is sometimes you have to narrow that audience down. Sometimes you can put it out there, but don't expect everybody to be attracted to it, to see it as valuable. And that's the part that gets hard for the entrepreneur or the founder or whatever in that space, because you want everybody to get it, and then you have to be like, oh, wait, and now it may not be catered for everybody. Everybody may not like it. Everybody may not need it the same way. And so how do I figure out how to break it down where I can reach an audience and have the impact I want to have by narrowing down to a particular the type of audience, like whether it's male, female, whether it would be the entrepreneur, whether it be the working person. These are the different things you have to figure out. Who is my audience? And so when you get into that one space, then you have other things you have to do as well. But that's the most important thing you have to tighten up. Who is my audience? What do I want them to get out of this? How do I do that? And when you focus, you get to a space where you can be even more impacting. And then you can scale better because you're in a focused area and you're not distracted all over the place. Very, very important. There were some things I saw, and if you read, because we have that written part, hold on, that written part of the blog. If you look in there, there's some pointers that were listed there, and I really, really like those pointers. One thing I like in the beginning, it says, focus is not limitation, it is acceleration. And a lot of times when we feel like we have to narrow down, we feel it's going to slow us down. But actually, it speeds everything up because now all your efforts are focused on that one particular area, that one particular group, that one particular product. When you narrow, you trade breadth for depth, scatter for clarity, and noise for signal. I like that. You trade your breadth for your depth. Instead of going wide, you go deep. You trade your scatter for clarity and noise for signal. That trade unlocks 3 powerful outcomes. Distinctive advantage, specialization sharpens your value proposition. And then the next one, faster learning loops, narrow scope produces rapid feedback. You want to get that feedback. And then finally, efficient allocation. Resources, time, talent, and capital are finite. Narrowing directs them where they produce the highest return. That reduces waste, shortens runway to product market fit, and scales outcomes rather than activities. That right there, in a nutshell. Resources, when you focus your resources on one particular area, then you can put all your efforts into it. Then you can put I think one thing says, focusing 80% of your focus on 20%, the 20% that brings the most value to your company or to whatever you're doing. And it's so important sometimes. It doesn't seem like that, but that's what happens, because almost like a laser, like when you have a laser beam or you have a light. I think they have that in somewhere there. A light just does everywhere. Everybody sees it. It just goes through everywhere. But when you have a laser beam, all the attention is focused on that one stream of light. And sometimes that laser beam is way more powerful than just a regular bulb because of the focus, because of the intensity of the focus. And it sharpens everything so it goes straight to it and zaps whatever needs to be zapped. That's the same thing they do with surgeries or whatever you have. Zaps whatever needs to be zapped without even messing with everything else around it. And that can be even more powerful. So we have to have that, just change our mindset about it. I have to narrow in order to grow. And even if it seems like you're losing, it's actually you're winning because you're putting more effort into what you're doing in your business. And so you can grow, you can scale, and do what needs to be done. How to narrow without trapping yourself. I like that part as well. Define the core customer problem. Next, pick one channel and one metric. Pick the single customer acquisition channel that's most likely to reach your persona and one North Star metric. You have to get that focus. Optimize relentlessly against them for 3 to 6 months, whatever that focus on a particular customer or a particular customer group. Just focus on them, and promotion goes there, money goes there, everything goes there, so that you could get the maximum benefit from what you're doing. Standardize the offer. Then institutionalize learning. Run a small, fast experiment every week. Codify what works into playbooks and eliminate what doesn't. Use what works, get rid of what doesn't. And you have to do those analysis. That's why we try to have you practice analysis here, self-analysis, business analysis, whatever it is that you're doing, analyze it continuously to see what areas need to continue, what areas don't need to continue. Because once you figure out what is beneficial, you can focus all your attention like a laser beam on those and get the maximum benefit from whatever you're doing. It's also for events as well. It's just everything takes that. Family, your monies, your time, everything. Figure out what is the most beneficial, what brings the most value, and focus your attentions there. And then the last one, 5, expand by analogy, not by accident. When growth is proven, broaden along adjacent high similarity segments or offers. Each expansion should leverage existing capabilities and distribution rather than require reinvention. You should be able to leverage existing capabilities and distribution rather than require reinvention. So when you find what works, you focus on that and you expand it, you do it better. You figure out ways to tweak it, to make it better. And that brings more value than every time you got to reinvent something. Okay, so these are the things, that's the way you can narrow yourself without trapping yourself in your business or whatever you're doing. Okay, and signals that you've narrowed well, you can describe your target customer and the return on investment in a single sentence. Your customer acquisition cost and lifetime value move predictably as you iterate. Your team spends 80% of its time on the top 20% of activities that produce outcomes. These are the 3 signals that you've narrowed well. When you do those things, you focus your attention and then you can see, okay, I'm getting some benefits. Narrowing is a strategic discipline. It's how startups become category leaders and how established companies revive growth. Embrace constraints. They concentrate energy, clarify choices, and transform competence into momentum. They transform competence into momentum. You're clear, your energy is going to the right places, and now you can see the right outcome and have some momentum to keep going all the way up like you're supposed to. Be very strategic in how you grow, because these are areas that could help you grow. They were saying something that even for the next 6 months, you focus for those things and you could grow from there. And you have a plan. You usually I try to. I like the strategy of going 30, 60, 90 days. Every 30 days, check and see your progress and see have a goal as to what you want to reach, like at the end of 30 days, at the end of 60 days, at the end of 90 days, and analyze yourself every month to make sure you're reaching those goals. If you're not, you got to tweak something. You got to remove or add something. And then you keep on going like that. After 6 months, you see where you're at and you keep going. And you should have growth. And you should have growth. And I'm telling you the things that work for me and things that I have to do, because it's not easy. Believe you me, it's not. But when you put those things in place, you have something where you can check yourself. And I'm always like checking, okay, what are we doing here? What are we not doing here? And especially in the entrepreneurial space, is a whole different ballgame. Because you're creative, you're creating things, but at the same time, it takes sometimes longer than you think it should take, or even shorter sometimes. And you could get discouraged. But if you have those goals ahead of you, it keeps you focused, it keeps your energy focused. And so now you have something to do and you keep going till you get the result that you need to have. And always be ready to pivot and tweak things. Pivoting is so key in life. If you can't pivot and adjust quickly, or you don't have a mindset, if this doesn't work, I'm done or whatever, and you can't have that mindset when you're building things. because things are going to happen. I've been watching the whole July 4th celebrations. And I mean, they had, especially in our area, because I'm close to the DC area, and everything happened. I mean, one day you had hot weather. They had to close it down because it was too hot for people to come out. Then before that, they had rain that came. So you had to, it was so much rain and thunderstorm and everything, you had to let people leave, because if you keep them there and something happens, that's a liability. So, and then yesterday, the thing was going good. All of a sudden, it's all the rain, one thunderstorm from God knows where. I mean, the rain just came and we wanted it and it cooled everything down, but it was just going to stop all the celebration. All these people are here. And I'm looking at them like, I feel so bad for you. I'm in the house. I'm like, oh my God, they're out there. These people stayed in the train stations underground until that rain stopped and came back out. And they were able to pivot and still have the whole thing, although it was later, 12 a.m., and they came out. But you have to know how to pivot, because if you don't know how to pivot, you just feel like the world has ended. We got to go. And nothing would have happened. But you have to anticipate that negative things will happen, or people could act this way, people would act this way, or this wouldn't happen. The weather could cause some problems. And when you have that mindset, things could happen. You have to be in the mind of being so quick to pivot and figure out, how can we get this done, even with all these obstacles. Go past the obstacles and get it done in a very impacting way. And you have to think like that. Same thing goes for your business. Same thing goes for families. Same thing goes for anything you do. Because if you don't have that mindset, things will come and they'll destroy you, and they'll make you be disheartened and discouraged, and you feel like you can't accomplish anything. But when you understand that all these things work to make you stronger, you start thinking, then you start getting creative. Now, how can we create in this space that we have? Because this is a whole hot mess, but we have to keep it going. So what can we do? And sometimes the best ideas, sometimes the best products come out of those situations. I've heard a lot of entrepreneurs and big billionaires and whatever they're talking, a lot of the things they created came out of negative spaces that they found themselves in. And they were like, well, how do we get out of this? A lot of people who create inventions, great inventions, came out of a need because of a negative situation that arose. And they're like, well, we need to figure out how to get out of this. We can't be stuck here. And that helped them create something that was seen like nonchalant. And then once they got working, it was like, well, wait a minute, I think we have a hit here. We need to check this out and promote this to people. And then people started buying, and they became the millionaires and billionaires that they are today, because they created from the space of necessity. Something had to be done to change the situation that existed, and they had to create, and God gave them the idea, and they ran with it, and today the rest is history. So we have to be willing to pivot and be able to adjust the situations so that we don't get caught up and be like, oh my God, what am I going to do? The earth is falling, the sky is falling. No, there is always, like that one statement we always say, life happens for you, not to you. So there's always something that you could get out of it. Always. Okay. Always. Especially if you're a believer like I am in God. And he will make a way for you where there seems to be no way. Okay. Hebrews 12:2 says, looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. Jesus is one of the biggest pivoters there ever was. He went through all kinds of stuff, all kinds of shit. And although he came knowing that the earth, he came on a mission to save mankind, and he knew man would not like him, did not love him, didn't think they needed a savior. But God knew that a savior was needed because of the fall that happened that switched his plan out to a hot mess. But he sent Jesus as the one to correct everything and bring it back and redeem man to himself. So once Jesus came, he had to adjust. But he kept his focus on the prize, which was redeeming man. And everything happened. He endured the cross. He went through the shame. He went through all the beatings that we hear about, but did not switch his focus. Why? Because the mission was to redeem man back to himself. Until that was done, nothing else mattered. Everything he had to go through was worth it. And he was not distracted for 1 second, because he knew the importance of the mission he was on. What is the mission that God has you here on? What is the mission for your company, for your family, for whatever it is you're doing? What is the mission? Because that mission has to be more important than all the distractions that shows up around you. And if you keep that mindset, it gets you to the end zone without getting distracted. What was I watching about a distraction? Oh my God. And the distraction was so bad that they did. Oh, no, I can't mention that. Never mind. I can't mention that. I can't mention that. Oh my goodness, I forgot. But yeah, we let the devil distract us into getting things, into looking at different people, getting mad at people. I saw the game last night. It was yesterday, I think, with France and Paraguay. I think it was yesterday. And I mean, if you want to talk about laser focus, they were focused. I didn't know, because when I watched the game, we're watching from the wide scope of the whole screen, whatever, and you hardly see the individual things going on. You see one, two here and there. But later on, they played that game. And I did not know Paraguay was being so rude and so mean to the French guys. They were pushing them. They were telling them things. They were hitting them. I'm like, well, wait a minute. And all the French guys did, including the lead guy, which was, I think, it's Mbappe, whatever his name was. All he did was they just laughed. They knew what was going on, and they just laughed it off in their faces. And of course, they gave him a choice words. We don't know what it is. I don't think we want to know. And they kept it going. A couple of times they almost got ruffled because the guys were literally pushing them. And hitting them. They were not even hiding the fact that they were fouling. They didn't care. They were kicking them all over the place and calling them stuff. And they just started laughing in their faces. But that was their strategy to stay focused, because they knew if they got off focus, they could lose the game, because the focus takes your mind off. Then you're fighting and you're getting a yellow card or a red card and getting kicked out of the game. Now your team is at a loss and they don't have your impact because you're gone. So they knew what was at stake, and they said, we are not going to bow to their hotness. And of course, they're trained, well trained by their coaches and all that for all these years, but they did not flinch. They looked at them and they just laughed, and they kept walking. That blessed my spirit. And then a couple of times the guys hit him and he just pushed the guy back and he kept going. And another guy, it's like three of them would be on him at the same time. I'm like, well, wait a minute, where is the referee? Because that's not supposed to happen. But that's how the same thing the devil will do to you. That's the same thing obstacles in your life will do to you. They will come at you to distract you from your mission, knowing that if you get upset, you could get a yellow card in life or a red card. Some people end up in jail. Some people end up dead. Some people end up losing limbs because they couldn't control themselves. Self-control is a gift of the Spirit. God expects us to operate with it because it protects us from so many things that we don't even know. But when we get our act together and we say, God, I am going to control myself and bring my body under. So these things, just like Jesus, won't faze you. You know what they're about. You know what they're coming to do. And you decide, I'm going to stay focused because I'm on mission. There's lives at stake based on what God has called me to do. And I cannot afford to get off the wall, to get distracted and get in a hot mess. When you do that, God himself will help you. God himself will preserve you. And God will show you how to win every time in those situations. So when you narrow your focus, you can grow better. You can scale better. You can understand things better. And then you're at the stage now where you can do all the things that God wants you to do. I have a few pointers here, 3-4 things that I picked up. Narrow to go higher. Narrow to grow your reach. How many people you reach. Narrow to grow your impact. The impact, the intensity of the impact that you have on who you have it. And then narrow to grow value. So narrow to go higher, narrow to grow your reach, narrow to grow impact, and narrow to grow value. These are the areas that you can really, when you stay focused and like a laser beam, you can see some scale action going on in every single way. Okay, so that's what I got for this week.